growing up kind of and like when I first really got into YouTube politics and all of that, it was really easy. It was actually really easy and simple because when you grow up in like small conservative like rural America type of regions of the country, um, which do exist in Maine. That's like most of Maine. It's only the east the eastern coastline of Maine that is like snooty and suburbanite and petty bourgeois, like professional managerial class, like coastal elites kind of area, you know. It's really in like southern Maine. Coastal southern Maine is like that, but otherwise like northern Maine is all woodlands, and then like western Maine slash central Maine, which is kind of where my area is located, is all like small town, dumpy, dreary, like industry towns, you know? Old manufacturing towns, you know? Back before the globalized economies that are still sort of clinging on to bare life, you know? Clinging on to whatever they can squeeze out of that, you know? So that's where I've been born and raised, and it's just kind of when you grow up in that environment, politics is kind of simple. Have a if you have any kind of like, I don't know how to say it. If you have any sort of like decent inclinations, you know, if you have any kind of inclination that is against the status quo, basically, it's really easy and simple because all of the people around you are so conservative and just so like the traditionalist culture has taken such a hold on the people in the area that it's radical enough just to be a liberal, you know what I mean? Like in comparison to your surroundings, it's radical enough to just be like pro LGBTQ plus, pro like anti-racism. Like it's easy enough to just be progressive and liberal socially and to just have that basically like what I'm trying to say is like when you grow up in these small rural shitty dumpy fucking downtrodden poor conservative areas, um it colors your worldview to the extent where like social liberalism becomes like the full extent of radicalism to you. You know, like it makes you feel like, wow, I'm so edgy. I'm so on the precipice. You know what I mean? Like I'm so fucking radical just because I have like social beliefs that every single liberal believes. You know what I mean? Like I live in one of those areas that went from Obama to Trump. Like that'll tell you everything about it. I live in one of those areas that went from Obama to Trump. I live in one of those downwardly mobile white areas, you know? And so like it takes a certain amount of like personal isolation from everyone around you. Like how I've been living. Like I don't know if I've really opened up and talked about my personal life on this. I don't really think I have elaborated on it, but like in high school, I barely went to school. to tell you the truth. Like, in high school, I barely showed up to school. And so, like, for years, I've just been very... And obviously, you have COVID for the last, like, year and a few months now. Like, it takes... I feel like, because this is what happened to me, I feel like it takes a certain amount of personal isolation, but online engagement for you to really realize, like, oh, there's something further radical than just liberalism, you know? There's something more radical than just being a social progressive, you know what I mean? Like, you can actually go beyond that. That's not the end of the horizon. Just being, like, not racist and not homophobic or transphobic, you know? But that's how it all starts, I think. And then from there, it's just kind of like, okay, let's talk about the economy. And that's really important to me. And like foreign policy, those are really the big things for me that I was like, yeah, I think I'm somewhere on the far left, not just the left now. Because, like, my entry point into politics was actually music. Not even Rage Against the Machine. I was never really that big of a Rage Against the Machine fan. It was System of a Down for me that got me into politics. System of a Down. Like, the best year of my life so far, 2016, I was listening to System of a Down constantly. Their biggest record, Toxicity, their second album, I would just play that on repeat, on blast, all through class and as I was walking home. System of a fucking Down, dude. That band is awesome. That band is like theory. Like, you, like, listening to it is like, damn, like, Serge, the singer, he actually knows what he's talking about, you know, like, he knows about geopolitics and foreign policy. And listening to that music is radicalizing. Like, they write songs about, like, marijuana arrests and, like, the Armenian genocide, because the whole band is of Armenian descent, and war, like, a lot of anti-war anthems, you know, like, that's what BYOB is about, one of their biggest songs. The song is literally about the Iraq war, and the lying that the Bush administration did to get us into it. And so, like, I don't know, like, knowing that the American military industrial complex was basically like a force of evil in the world, and having that kind of internationalist germ, like, implanted in me so early on in my political development has really, I feel like that really went a long way in shaping my politics and making me more radical than just your average liberal. Like, I was always an edgy, kind of, like, anarchic, communistic kind of individual for as long as I, like, you know? And to be fair, I did lose my way. But then I found my way again, you know? And I made a return to my true authentic being after my Jordan Peterson weird, like, social libertarian, esoteric fascist phase. I kind of realized, like, I am a fucking radical leftist. Why do I How did I get sucked into all this weird intellectual dark web bullshit about like individual, like rugged individualism and fucking like hysterical propagandistic anti-communism? Like, why did I ever fall into that trap? And transphobia, like, why did I ever fall into that trap? And that was right along the time when I realized that I'm a fucking woman. I'm not a fucking man. I'm a fucking woman. Yeah. And then I wrote an album about communism, and I got into communism, and I basically started calling myself a communist to some extent. And I moved to the left. Farther left than I already was. I was already a Bernie person by 2016, you know? But yeah. There's a lot of complicated factors involved. There's many, many, many complicated factors involved in my own personal political development. So I'm still trying to figure out how to, like, narrativize it and piece it together in a coherent but interesting and insightful way for you guys to listen to. I'm still working on that. I really need to like do a lot of reflection and figure it all out and really connect with my past self in all those different areas, you know? I really do. But yeah. There's a lot of aspects of my life that are not fully where I want them to be. Like, my relationship with my family isn't where I wish it was, you know? A lot of things, like, nothing is the way that I wish it was right now. To be 100% with everyone here, like, nothing is the way I wish it was right now. But what are you gonna do, I guess, you know? I gotta figure out what to do, that's the thing. But yeah. I want to be my own thing. I want to turn Madeline 13 into its own established thing. I'm chasing that. I want to double my sub count on YouTube. I'm chasing that 500. I'm going after that 500. Have you noticed, has anyone noticed, like, I never lose a following? Like, there's never been a time where it's like, oh shit, like 50 people unsubscribed from my YouTube channel. It's never happened. It's only growth. I only grow. It's literally only uphill from here. It's literally only uphill from here. I'm really optimistic about my future on YouTube and all that. But I don't know, like, it'd be nice. I'm planning on starting a Patreon or something, like, so people who like my content can support it and support me, because, like, if I could just do the thing of, like, podcasting and all of that to sustain myself, I will. I fucking will. So maybe I need to be a little bit more dedicated and, like, forceful and passionate about my work, my personal work that isn't mandated or dictated by any other person or force or arrangement that's outside of myself, you know? My own work. My own fucking work. Because I want to make the content that I would watch, that I'm looking to watch. Because, like, so many things went downhill. And there's just so many, like,